All right, hey guys, Guido coming at you with a little bit something different here. Tactics talk and an interview with Zero Three Mark Legend, who is apparently a three mark legend. But from what I can tell, he absolutely is because it's pretty awesome. Hey, thanks for coming by, Zero. Appreciate that, man.
Yep, no problem.
All right, all right. So we're gonna just ask Zero some questions and see what it's like to be Zero. Get inside the mind of Zero Three Mark Legend here. All right, so tell us a little something about yourself there, Zero. You're one of the newer CCs, right?
Yeah, I was accepted recently, last couple of months. Um, I kind of took a back channel. I was streaming here and there, and I was putting up content, of course, but I also was constantly in touch with different wargaming staff and just talking about different aspects of the game, the competitive mainly, and um, basically that's about it. And
Yep.
then, of course, my content has always been more competitive gameplay versus, I guess, entertainment.
Yeah. So you came in from the competitive side, and I guess one of the things you like to do is three mark everything you can possibly get a hold of.
Yeah, so that was never my original intent when I came into this game. Um, I started playing, I think, October of 2014, and I was very, very bad at this game. I didn't know there was an Arty mode until I hit tier 4 or 5. Um, yeah, and I guess I ended up making it my goal to die as fast as I could in every game.
Did you accomplish
So,
that?
um, some of my tanks, I've fixed some of the stats when I went back with my original goals, and they look a little better now. But yeah, had like 30% win rates, that sort of thing, and was not even getting a shot off and stuff. It was
Nice.
completely different.
So where are you
Um,
from, man? Not obvious.
um,
Not obviously where do you live specifically, but generally where are you from?
from the Midwest, so
Okay.
you know, get the all the seasons, get snow, get warm in the summer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fantastic. So you said you kind of back channeled it. That was the next question. Like, how did you, just for people who might be thinking about it or who are kind of curious, what was your road to CC?
I had been streaming for quite a while. I had streamed about a year, way back, like maybe 2016 or 17. I streamed for about a year. I don't know if you've heard of Old Monkey. Um, he doesn't stream very much anymore, doesn't play anymore, but he had been streaming a lot at the time. And he got me into it, got me started, um, got me set up on the original OBS, and away I went. I probably streamed a couple hours a day, didn't have many viewers, but would play random battles, would play clan wars, would play tournaments, all the above. And then I ended up just having internet issues and time, so it kind of slowed down. I probably stopped for about 6 months to 8 months, and then of course I started streaming again and was talking with people and looking to see what I could get out of it. Um,
Right.
yeah,
And you're a Twitch partner now, right? Is that did you get that yet, or
not
you
a.
still?
I've been an affiliate for probably 2 years now, but partner is a little bit harder to achieve. It's average viewers, so
Right.
I've had the consistency. I've had all that. The subs, I think, is one requirement, but the actual was it 75 average viewers,
Right. Right.
which is pretty high.
That is that's a big hurdle, and I'm kind of around the same thing right there. Definitely. So what is your community like as you're doing the content creation and building, trying to build your brand right there? What do you think, or what are you aiming at community wise? What's your angle at this that you're trying to come at?
So what I've noticed from both the chat and um, just the people I know that tune in is there's some people from like EU, or uh, one of my viewers is from New Zealand. Just kind of seeing what it's like to uh, either play in competitive or play at a higher level, or even just to find out, what the uh, next new tank is going to be like with the burlesque. I was playing it for an entire afternoon and had loads of people asking me different questions about it.
And ruining all of our chances to get 3 marks, right?
Yeah, and that's the other thing is a lot of people that tune in are people from my clan or other I'll say top 20 clans, and just curious to see my opinions on uh, how to set stuff up, or what the requirements are of things, or
So
how to
maybe
do it.
kind of top level gameplay, aiming at the
Yeah,
kind of the top level players. I think that's important because in order to kind of talk to that community, that top level community, you have to have the credibility. So a player like you with your stats, I think that really helps you out.
yeah. It sometimes means that my community and viewer base is a lot less. It has less of a chance to grow because you know how there's a triangle that
Sure.
goes up.
Yep. Yep.
My viewer base is probably just that kind of a little bit lower on the top end, and then all the way up to the top. So
Right.
it's
So what's
that's how it kind of goes.
yeah, yeah. So what are your future plans then for your community? Do you have any big ideas, anything big, just kind of steady as she goes, or you have any? What are you thinking?
Most of it just depends on my time.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm a full-time college student, so I'm middle of uh, middle of the second semester of my third year. I'm in a 5-year program, so I have another about 2 years to go. And then, of course, in the summer I'll be working, so
Right.
not much chance there either.
Yeah. I
But
want
yeah,
to ask
roll with
you.
the punches.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to ask you what college, but we probably don't want to get too personal about stuff. It's, all right. Let's see. Clan or no clan? Are you Mahau? Is that right? Is that how you say it?
Yes, I'm in Maho. Yeah.
Okay, you're in Mahau. Yep, definitely one of the top clans. Describe your play style. What is Zero Mark Legends play style when he sits down and starts playing? Like what tanks do you like to play class wise? How do you like to play?
So I guess that's actually hard to answer in a way because
Yeah.
I make a lot of mistakes still. There's no one that is perfect, and one of my main mistakes that I keep doing is I am too aggressive. I like to be right in the brawl, or I don't like to be in a situation where I'm not putting out damage. Especially when I'm three marking. If I'm just sitting there for over a minute not doing anything, I get impatient.
Right.
So,
Right.
um, but for the most part, I like to be in a place that I can constantly be putting out damage, but I also go for the win. It's not, because uh, in a standard battle, you want to, of course, be helping your team, because if you lose instantly, there's no way you can put out damage. So it's a I don't see it as three marking doesn't go for the win,
Yeah, I
which
like
a lot of
that.
people are like, oh, if you're marking, they're not going for the win. Um, the only places that you can notice that is, for example, if you capping is an option. I don't really want to do that, but
Right. Right. Yeah. No, that's great. So that's interesting you said that because you talked about learning and getting better. What is your philosophy on learning and getting better at this game, or really any game that you might play? How do you go about that?
so like I said, I started out very, very badly at this game. Um, Originally, I just played with a couple friends. They were teaching me where to go on the map. They weren't amazing either. Then I got into some clans, got to learn kind of how a organized team would win on certain maps, and then I'd kind of around base my actual playing around that.
All right, that's
Uh,
interesting. Yeah.
and slowly but surely, I was able to kind of adapt my play style uh, to, I don't know. It differed because
Yeah.
I had maybe like I played way too much. I have like 55,000 battles on this
Yeah.
account.
Yeah. Good luck.
Um,
I have 90, so there you go.
yeah,
There
so
you
I
go.
have like a maybe 25, 30,000 battle gap where I was going for ace tanker badges,
All right.
because I didn't think there was a way I could get 3 marks. It was just not in my mind.
Yeah.
I I started getting them here and there. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. You can't, I guess, to abbreviate it, you have to set goals that are achievable, but not way out there.
There you go.
So my original goal was try to ace a certain class, or then
Right, right.
ace a certain amount of tanks, and then I aced basically everything, and then I got my first couple 3 marks,
Yeah.
well, first couple 2 marks, and then first couple 3 marks, and I just kept building.
So do you think that you mentioned it, but do you think that your competitive gameplay has added a lot to your pub gameplay as far as understanding maps and weird positions you might not use in pubs that's useful, actually useful? I mean, what do you think about that?
So the two are actually very intertwined. But it's both positive and negative.
Yeah.
So having played so many battles, I have very, very good knowledge of the maps and different shooting angles and different stuff I've found. And I definitely use that. I haven't mentioned it yet, but I also call for Maho. So
Oh, okay.
uh,
Yeah.
uh, I called, I don't know, maybe a solid 10 battles, 10, 15 battles for this campaign, give or take.
Right.
Um, so between those two, like with the map positioning, I can be like, oh yeah, you can go over here and you can get the shooting angle. But then with the competitive, the negative of doing a lot of competitive is I count on my teammates too much to hold an angle or
Yeah.
get a shot.
Yeah.
So,
All right. The best thing that Zero Mark Legend does in the game, like your top skill, what is it?
um,
Decision making, positioning, reacting. What do you think? The actual mechanical, just being really good at shooting and angling. I know it's hard to
um,
pick one, but just try to just what's that
that's
one
actually
thing you're
really
proud of how
difficult.
you do?
It would probably be, um, I guess, consistency on multiple tank classes and multiple maps and scenarios, and still being able to get the damage or the assistance or both to hold marks. Because what, sure, it's, you can get a big game here and there, you can get a huge game, you can uh, have a consistent 5 battles, but if you have 2 terrible battles, you just won't have it. So you just have to avoid those, and I'm always able to somehow pull something off.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. When you're three marking, if you're doing as much three marking as you're doing, that's what's happening. That's what's
yeah.
impressive is the consistency. All right. So you know this next question, right? What's the worst thing that three mark legend does? What's the thing you fail at the most?
um I probably rage too much at my team, and just get overly worked up about if I bad RNG or a teammate either pushing me out or not doing something that needed to be done, or basically I get too invested in a certain battle.
And that's directly connected to consistency a lot of times, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically if I'm not, let's say I'm trying to average 4,500 combined in something, and I'm at uh, 4,100 combined, and a teammate is preventing me, like he's full health and I'm a one shot, and we can win a flank if he just takes one hit, because then we can
Yeah.
kill that tank,
And he
and I
doesn't.
get my shot damage, and
Yeah.
he just doesn't move.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that spins me into the roof as well. All right. So, what's the coolest thing about World of Tanks that you like about it?
so for the probably first 2, 3 years that I played, it was my outlet. It's where I would, blow stuff up, and I learned a lot of tank history. It was the first game that I started to get really good at and understood, and I was just climbing the ladder. At
Yeah.
this point, um, it's I guess it's more about the achievements. It's like I finally got this, I finally got that.
Right.
My next goal is this. So,
So, do you play any other games like at
um,
a high level like this?
well, well, definitely not at this level,
Right.
but I've put so many hours into it. I just started getting into World of Warships a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Definitely not as high level. Got my first tier 10, close to a couple others. Not doing too hot, but. I'll get there maybe.
Yeah, it's a little more casual
um,
of a game from what I've seen. I played a little bit too, but not too deeply.
yeah, basically I started playing because I just got burned out with tanks.
Yeah,
So I just need another place to go. And I have downloaded a couple other games and I play here and there, but everything else is not so much based on competitive because not so good. So I just try to have fun.
right. So I think the question everyone's waiting for: do you love Arty or not?
So again, this is kind of a two-faced thing.
Yeah,
In competitive, it has a place in competitive. It actually does because you have to play around it. It makes strategies different. You can dig out camps. You can say, let's say, if they bring two and you don't bring any, you can just push right in because they're down two tanks. Or you can't just sit there because they're going to arty you out. So there's a lot of small things that go into it.
all right.
In
Yeah, yeah.
random battles, it drives me nuts mostly because it has ruined way too many of my games. It also is just a terrible mechanic that you can't do anything about it, and they're doing a lot of stuff to you.
Yeah,
So
I think with and it's great the way you said that because in the competitive side, you can do something about it because of the organization, but you don't have that same
yes,
feeling in pubs. You never feel like you can do anything about it in pubs. I think that's a great way to put that there. So, all right, what's the thing you least like, minus Arty, of course? What's the thing you least like about what? Is it RNG? Is it matchmaking? Is it skill based? What do you think?
um, I would probably have to say it's a combination of those three that you just said: RNG, matchmaking, and maps. Um, so all the maps are very quarter based,
Yeah.
and then matchmaking can really affect what happens on that map. Makes the entire match completely a wash. Basically, it's just not fun, not very enjoyable.
Yeah. That's how you know you're a professional right there. Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that. That's a good point with that, man. Last question before I let you go, and I do appreciate you doing this. Like I said, this is the first time I've done this. I plan on doing it with as many of the CCs as want to. But give us the one thing you wish you had learned earlier about the game. Like you're talking to a brand new player, and maybe it's a couple things, but give me a sense of what you would like a new player to know, either technical or just kind of overall philosophy about the game, so that they would want to stick around and not quit.
Um, yeah. So again, that's a tough question, but really, what it comes down to is this is not one of those. You pick it up, you learn a lot in 2 weeks, and you are automatically decent and can pull off different things. Let's say if you jumped into I'm just gonna put it out because everyone knows what it is. Fortnite. Like, if you play for 2 weeks, then you'll probably start to figure it out, and it's basically just a first-person shooter. This is not that. There's so much that goes into it between map knowledge, armor knowledge. Um, then you have the positioning and the uh, just the mechanics, and there's just so much. So if it's something that uh, like if once you start to appreciate how much goes into it, you just have to uh, kind of look at all of it and then just start to make sense of it. And as a new player, I really wish that there was one article that just put everything into a list,
Yeah,
and then you could click. If you wanted to know a little more about something, then you could find out about it. But if you didn't want to, that wasn't a problem. Let's say you had uh, the shell mechanics, bush mechanics, um, the different classes, and you just went on,
yeah,
and then you
yeah.
just were able to click and see, oh, that's how that works. No wonder. Or
Well, I guess the wiki sort of has that, but I think what you just described is our next Watt CC. Somebody out there needs to update that and make it more useful. I think because the
yeah,
wiki can be hard to navigate, and some of the stuff in there is old. So there you go, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming by. Give us a plug. So you're streaming, right? And what's your schedule? Do you
yeah.
have one, or is it kind of random at this point?
Um, it's kind of random, but I have been trying to kind of narrow it down. I normally go live between 10 and 3 Eastern, and I'll probably stream for a couple hours here and there.
At night,
Um,
you mean 10 p.m.?
No, 10 a.m. to
Oh,
3
okay.
p.m.
Then during the day. Okay, good.
Yeah, because that's when my internet is best. It's because college internet goes to uh, kind of bad places at night because
Oh,
everyone's on it. So
everybody
packet
comes
loss
home.
and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, good.
So that's kind of what my stream schedule is based off of.
Do you have a website of
Um,
any kind?
Not yet. I do have a Discord,
A
but I
Okay.
don't have many people on it yet.
All right.
So
Send me that info, and I'll make sure it gets down in the description. I'll make sure your Twitch channel gets there. And are you doing YouTube at all?
not yet, but I have been thinking about it because I again haven't been able to get a consistent stream schedule. But if I can, work at a couple hours here and there and then post a video at a consistent time, I feel like that would be a good way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
That's how I grew mine. It's a video a day or 2 days or three or whatever. Well, all right,
yeah.
man. Hey, I appreciate you coming by. Anything else you want to tell the fans out there?
So there's definitely people that will possibly look at my stats, and I want to say that the reason I 3 marked all the artillery was because they count as tier 10 arty, and because I was doing arty missions. So
I was going to ask you if you 3 marked Arty, but
I
uh,
only tier 10s, and I 3 marked all 5 of them. I did it for 3 reasons. One, because I was doing arty missions and I was close.
yeah.
Two, because they count as tier 10 3 marks. And three, just to show that they're really not hard to play and that, well, yeah, I 3 marked them all in less than 150 battles. So,
Nice.
um,
That's actually
and
that's pretty awesome.
so,
I feature Arty on my channel because I know people play it, and there are Arty players in my community. It's all in good fun, really. So uh, it doesn't necessarily bother me that people play it, and I think it's pretty awesome that you've 3 marked all of them. Maybe some Arty players need to come to you and get some essay on how to
well,
actually be effective.
that's the thing is I don't like how people end up focusing certain uh, certain positions or certain tanks or especially if they're running XVM. But of course, you want to focus when there's people grouped up and
Right.
there's different. I won't give all the secrets away because otherwise I will get focused more.
That's
But
fantastic, man.
I guess the other reason I could say that I have played it is because it gives a great way to see how to try to play against it or minimize being hit or you know
That's exactly why I
uh,
did it. I've unlocked every tank in the game, and largely for that reason, so that I can play all of them and kind of understand better about all the classes. Well, hey Zero, thanks for coming by, man. I really appreciate it. And I guess you're getting back to Clan Wars tonight. You got one more night, is that right?
yeah, one more night of campaign.
You're gonna get all the gifts and presents and everything. Did you?
Um,
Does Zero 3 Mark Legend have enough fame?
oh, I'm almost at 100K. I'm like top 40.
Okay, so you're fine. You're fine. You're gonna get your built tank, and you're gonna get. I'm assuming you have
I'm
all the.
trying to get my second built tank actually.
Very nice.
I'll probably be one of the only ones on the server with that, either because I didn't have all of them or because you just need a serious amount of battles. So,
That's great, man. That's fantastic. All right, so go see Zero if you want to learn how to 3 mark. If you want to talk about competitive play, I think he's one of the best CCs we have as far as competitive 3 marking. No kidding, the top level of the game. This is your guy. So if that's what you're into, then definitely check out Zero. I'll put some of his information down in the description. Thanks again for coming by, man. We're checking out. We'll see you guys later.